If you have a belief that I can never be successful, you will always try to find a way to prove your brain right.
Yes.
It's the same thing when you know someone who says, I always have shitty managers. It's because every damn fucking building they go into, they find the shitty in the manager. They'll find it. They'll find the reason.
The manager shitty.
Most people walk around and are like, what if this doesn't work? What if it does, motherfucker?
Yes.
What if it does?
Yes.
Right? But we're thinking about the wrong things. And so your brain is always trying to prove your beliefs right. Most of you have shitty beliefs, and that's why we have shitty results and a shitty life.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. Today, I've got something that I think is one of the biggest treats I could ever give you guys. This dude right here is probably one of the most inspirational dudes I've ever heard speak in my entire life. I've heard from Tony Robbins. I've heard from Ed Milet, and they're all amazing, and this dude is right up there with them. When you hear from this guy, it will change your life. I cannot be more excited to introduce my guest today, Nick Santonastasso.
Yeah, you got it.
That is a hard name, Santonastasso, right?
Yeah.
We'll get that right throughout. Nick, thank you so much for being on, brother.
Thank you, brother. We're in the bullpen today.
Yeah, we're in the bullpen.
Let's go.
I'm excited to have you on. So just kind of give you guys an idea. Nick is a medical miracle. Not only is he one of 4 people alive with the rare genetic condition Hanhart Syndrome. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yep.
The inspirational keynote speaker is an internationally, and I mean internationally, he speaks all over the world. Like seriously, you've spoken all over the world. It's incredible. He's a known bodybuilder, a fitness model. Despite missing both his legs and one arm since birth, the high energy youth shares his amazing story, showing people that anyone can thrive if they had the determination and willpower to go after what they want. When Nick was born, the doctors handed his parents a long list of things he'd never be able to do. Nick's parents politely thanked them and threw the list out. I love your parents. Thanked them and threw the list out. They raised Nick the same way they had raised his 3 able-bodied older siblings and instilled in him never to let the world tell him what he could or couldn't do. Nick, I'm so excited to jam with you, brother.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive into it.
So the thing is, man, as I read this is just give people an idea of who you are.
Absolutely.
Just kind of an idea. But at the end of the day, right, I think we were kind of talking about this before. There's a lot of people who, you know, have inspirational stories or really actually have a lot of excuses, right? Or they just have like, I don't even want to say it, like they just have something in their life that's holding them back.
Yeah.
And what you've accomplished, what you've done is no short of a miracle. It's fucking inspiring. It's incredible, right? But that comes from somewhere, right? That comes from somewhere. That doesn't just happen, right? So what's your story? What made you who you are? Like really?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the first thing which you mentioned was my parents.
Yeah.
And when I talk about this, if people that are listening and saying, well, I wasn't brought up that way, like that's okay, right? You just need to be aware of what may have held you back. And by the way, your parents didn't intentionally hold y'all back. They didn't mean to do that, right? But it was just about your environment and where you're raised. And so I grew up and my parents had treated me normal in the sense of, you know, at first when I was a baby, they'd help me out. But at some point they were like, okay, like Nick, here's your clothes. Like, let's figure it out. And they give me verbal suggestions and they never do the work for me, which allowed me to fall on my face a bunch of times. But eventually figure out what I can and what I cannot do, right? Same thing with eating, same thing for dressing myself, getting on couches, all that different type of stuff. But the deeper thing is they conditioned me at an early age to say, okay, like you're going to fall on your face a bunch of times, but the faster you fall on your face, like the faster that you'll succeed. But also becoming okay with failure, right? So even you and I, we do a lot of coaching in the sense of people are still afraid of failure. Like, and because we have all these thoughts of like, what are my friends going to think of me? What is my mom going to think of me? What are my kids going to think of me? Right. Because their relationship with failure is not a good one. Right. And so at an early age, my relationship with failure became a good relationship, which I knew that if I leaned into this thing called failure, that I would succeed faster. But also they gave me the room. They gave me the room and they gave me the ability to experience pain. But first, they gave me the room to create my own solutions, right? Like they didn't give me the answers. They would give me suggestions, but I would figure it out. And at an early age, I mean, you're literally wiring a kid's mind. You're wiring their thoughts, their beliefs, their emotions based on like how you're raising them. Yeah. And so I was wired to be solution oriented, but also my parents gave me the room to feel pain. And so, for example, like, and this isn't a plug, my mom has a book and the title is...
Plug it.
My mom has a book and it's titled How We Raise an Adaptive Child in a Handicapped World.
Ooh, I like
It's
that.
fire, right? Mom's fire.
yeah,
She's good, right?
I see where the speaking comes from.
Yeah. And so, but what that means is like, you can have no legs, you can have all legs, you can have one arm, whatever it may be, but you can still be handicapped by the environment that you grew up in.
Well, let me ask you this, right? A lot of kids out there, a lot of people have grown up without that kind of parents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Whether they're helicopter parents or they just weren't even there for them,
Yep.
right? How does someone overcome that?
Yeah. So the first thing that you need to do, because a lot of the times in our adulthood or even teenagers listening, is like we may resent our parents for the way that they were raised, right? The way that we were raised. We may resent them because they didn't have the knowledge or the tools. And so the first thing is liberating yourself and realizing that your parents did the best they could with what they knew in their software. Because your parents were raised by someone who didn't know what they were doing either, right?
Yeah.
And that gets trickled down. And so, like we said in the beginning of the interview, your parents didn't say, oh, I'm going to mess my kid up. You know, like they didn't consciously say that, but because of their conditioning and how they were raised, they trickled that down onto you. And so the first thing is to liberate yourself. Like, okay, like my parents didn't do it intentionally. I can forgive them, because people may be holding grudges. I see it all the time. You probably see it all the time. And then the second thing is realizing that now you know where your limited thinking comes from. Let's change it.
Well, let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing that you were taught to like do things for yourself, right? And your parents, like, dude, like it gives me goosebumps thinking about how badass your parents had to be to say, we fucking believe in you.
Yeah.
Right? They believe in you, and they're like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring, right?
Yeah.
But like let's be honest here, right? What people may not understand about you is not only you're an international speaker, you're a badass entrepreneur. Like, badass entrepreneur. You got your group that you coach people on with entrepreneurship. And if anyone wants to learn from this guy, go reach out to him on Instagram and join his group.
Thank you, bro.
Because what you've been able to show people is so much more than just, speaking. It's so much more than what you've been able to do like on social media. You've built a fucking business, a successful business. Because here's where I think about this, right? You could have been taught to like do things on your own. You could have been taught, to do that. And then guess what you could have done? Could have gone to college, and you could have become an accountant, and that's inspiring, right? You could have become an accountant. You could have been an Uber driver, right? You could have been whatever you
freaked out if they got the car.
You could have been whatever you wanted to be.
Yeah,
but you chose to rise up to a level of international. When we say international, worldwide inspiration, worldwide coaching. A business that you can make a difference in people's lives. That's a completely different level than just being able to, eat cereal on your own, right? Or control your clothes. That's what I mean. Like, you've taken it to a whole nother level, and there's something more there that's inside of you. Where did that come from? Because that's not normal. Yeah. Whether you have arms or not, right? That's not normal. That takes some balls. That takes some courage. Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's a great question. A few things. I think the first thing was when I was probably 18 or 19, when I was wrestling, it was the first time I experienced fulfillment, I think, in the sense of that I was on a wrestling mat, and I got my ass kicked, right? And I came off the mat, and like a mom came up to me and thanked me, and she's like, my daughter would never do a sport. She never wanted to do a sport, but seeing you out there, she wants to try new things. And it was a monumental moment for me, because I was selfishly on the mat to dig myself out of my own damn hole, not to be inspirational and motivational. And so when I realized that I was impacting people passively, I felt fulfillment, which, by the way, all the humans that are listening to this right now, like, you're searching for fulfillment, happiness, joy, right? And when you find your purpose, you find fulfillment as well. And so I was like, I like the little fuzzy feeling I get inside. And I like to help people. So how can I leverage this? How can I keep going with this? But also, I think the other thing is, like, people like you and I, we always look for ways to expand and stretch and to do things that make us really uncomfortable. And a lot of the times we don't do those because our own mind talks us out of it, which we're familiar on. Like with the brain, I was saying that the ancient brain, everything is a potential threat because it wants you to stay safe, right? So there's been so many times where our own brain or software said, don't work out, don't go up to that girl, don't build the business, don't quit your job.
Right.
And we're like, oh, it's my brain, like this is right. But really it's a defense mechanism because your brain doesn't want to stretch. because it takes up energy. It's got to burn more calories. It's got to think more, right? And so for those that are aware that the brain's always trying to talk you out of growth, to fucking lean into that. I don't know if I knew that back then.
Right.
So, but for example, like I said, is like I'm always looking for ways to expand myself, and so like it was wrestling, right, and then it was the Vine stuff, and then it was bodybuilding, which we can dive into all that stuff. But I was always looking for what's next, and I truly believe that through wrestling, through pranking, through bodybuilding, like
pranks, yeah.
it continually cultivated me into the man that I became, or that I can achieve success. We're also talking, and I know we're all over here, but we're also talking about like why do people flip flop? I mentioned this when you saw me on stage. Like, why do people flip flop? Like, how many of us know people that lost the weight and then found it? They found even more back, right? Or entrepreneurs, we make a bunch of money, and then at the end of the year, like, oh shit, where'd the money? Because you start making more money, and then your expenses go up, your identity goes up, right? And so why do people do that is because consciously you can be successful, but on an unconscious level, you can totally sabotage everything that you have in front of you.
Well, I think one of the biggest things you're talking about that, you're talking about like your brain and fighting what's inside you, the two voices, there's one voice that's whispering like, you can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are? There's that voice inside of you. I call that that's the carnal voice, right? But then there's the voice of the king that's inside you that says, you better fucking do this, right? You better fucking make this happen. Like this is who you are. You're fucking king. You've been put on this earth to do something great. Not a damn person on this earth who has a heartbeat was put on this earth to be average. I don't care what happens, anything else. You were not put on this earth to be average, right? And what I think when I'm listening to you, when I'm listening to like what you've gone through, right? To me, when people have suffered and they've conquered their own suffering, the next thing they decide to do is to go help others with their suffering as well, because they feel empathy. They realize that there are others suffering and they want to make a difference in their lives, and they feel a responsibility to do so. They feel that responsibility as a man, as a woman, as a king, as someone who has conquered that inner demon, says, now I can help you. And in my opinion, that sign out there says, be great or be nothing. That is the entire idea behind this business, that you have to be willing to not only save yourself, but others. Do you know anything about like my story or anything like that?
No, not much.
I was just going to so when I was a kid, so my nickname, the Bull, right? My nickname used to be the Fat Bull, right? I was pretty fat as a kid, bullied pretty heavily, right? One of the things that happened to me all the time was these kids, I literally every day went to school. I would go to school. The school's like in my backyard. I would be puking before I go because I knew something was about to happen. Someone was going to beat me up. Someone was going to, pick on me or whatever it was. And I know damn well you went through the same thing, right? And I would go there, and one of the things they'd chase me down, beat me up, pour chocolate milk on me, right? The fat bull needs his milk, right? Stuffed tater tots in my mouth. And growing up, this happened over and over and over. Almost every day was a daily basis. My goal every day in school was to run, was to find a place on the playground or somewhere that I could hide, right? And when this kept happening, and one day it all changed for me, because it was worse than ever. Like, these 5 kids, they were just beating me up, right? And I roll over on my hands and knees, and I had blood up, coming down my nose, right? And I'm like crying, I'm like 11, and I got chocolate milk in my hair and tater tots on my cheeks, right? But I looked over and I saw all these kids out there, and the one thing I said is, why won't any of you help me? Right? Why won't any of you help me? And I went home, right after I actually didn't even go back to school. I just walked back home, right? And I went home, and my mom saw me, and she was like freaking out, this can't keep happening. She's feeling that. But it's this moment right here, because she takes me over to my dad, says, what are we going to do? And my dad literally looks at me, and he goes, come here. He says, I need you to understand something right now, son. No one is coming to save you. But that's okay, because you're all you need. You're going to have to be someone who's strong enough to defend themselves and defend others. And so you're going to have to be that fucking dude. He said, get out of my house and don't come back until you beat one of those kids up. No, I'm serious. He kicked me out of the house, and he said, you cannot come home until it's done. And I knew he meant it. And in my mind as a kid, he gave me no other choice. I mean, sure, there were other choices. I could go sleep on the street. But in my mind, I had no choice. He gave me no other option but to go and do something and conquer those demons inside, right? And really, they weren't even inside, but they were outside, right?
Yeah.
So I went over, puking on my way over, scared shitless, and I grabbed one of these. I knocked on this kid's door. His mom answers, right? His mom answers. I was like, so-and-so here. And then she goes and he comes to the door, and all my rage, like everything just came out of this moment. All the fear just like came out in fight or flight. I grabbed this kid and I start beating the shit out of him.
From his mom?
Luckily, she was in the kitchen.
Okay.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so his mom was in the kitchen when he came out. And I started beating the shit out of him, and then I just run back home. And it was the moment of running back home where I felt the most joy I can remember. That's the first time in my life I remember feeling I did it.
Yeah.
Right? I did it, right? And I came home to my dad, and he was like, he literally, hugged me. He said, "I'm proud of you," right? And he took me out for a Wendy's Frosty.
Yeah.
But then in that moment, he sat me down. He said, "You have to be someone who can defend himself, but do not stop there. You have to be someone who then goes out and defends others, because all those kids you saw who wouldn't help you, no one was coming to save you. You cannot be that guy, or else you're a fucking hypocrite."
Yeah.
And he said, you have to be that guy for the rest of your life, and you have to make a difference in people's lives. And so I'm hearing your story and what you've gone through. And I know damn well that you've faced some demons, not only up here, but there have been some demons, some people around you, some kids on the playground or whatever it was who tried to tear you down. Am I wrong?
No, no, you're not wrong.
Right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. And that got to me probably in middle school and high school, which is your dad still around?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to meet him. Good dad. And so, but
he's a stud.
For me, and it was the middle school and high school, and I think the biggest, because what you said as well, and what people are listening right now is like, we talked about this, like oftentimes humans won't change until they experience enough pain.
Yes.
Right? And you experience enough pain. You hit your fucking pain threshold and you said, this is it. There's no more. And what you notice is if you look around people, like just if you look around the humans in your life, like people won't start losing the weight until their doctor's like, yo, here's your diabetes, medicine, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't start building a business until you get laid off and you experience so much pain. Or how many guys, they don't go to the damn gym until the girl breaks up with them.
Hey man, dude, bodybuilders.
I did it. I did the same shit, right?
Bodybuilders are full of breakups and
right. But I want to challenge people listening is like, you don't need to wait till the pain is so hard to change. Why don't you change from a state of joy, happiness, and gratitude rather than waiting until the pain gets too hard? And so if you're listening right now and you're fucking waiting for the pain to get too hard, like you're wasting time. Like, why don't you do it from where you are now? You don't need to wait till the pain, right? And so for me, my biggest pain was girls.
Okay.
And you
have a beautiful girlfriend.
Thank
right
you.
Now, right? She's an awesome.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Comes full circle. Yeah. So right. And so.
Oh, you're sexy as shit.
Stop it.
She's a lucky girl.
And so the middle school and high school, like that's what dudes were into, right? Is like the girlfriends, right? And getting girls. And my brother was a stud and all this different stuff. And so I noticed that like girls didn't look at me or talk to me the way that they talk to friends, right? Or my friends would go to middle school dance and Nick was at home because he didn't have the balls or the courage or even think he was even worthy of it. And where that comes from, and I want people to note this, is where that comes from is the experiences that you have, and so based on an experience, you're going to develop a belief around the world and who you are and who the people are, right? And so if I had an experience where a girl made fun of me on the bus, I develop a belief that like, who the fuck am I to have a girlfriend, right? The brain, right? Who are you to have a girlfriend? You never go to your prom. You never go to your senior prom. You'll never have a family. Girls don't like you because you have no legs and one arm. And that was when the brain overtook, right? That's when the brain like totally sabotaged my life, and I was listening to my beliefs based off the shitty experiences that I have.
Other people told you.
Yeah, exactly. And oftentimes too, for those that are listening, the reason why you're not going all in your business is because someone told you it was a stupid idea.
Amen.
Right?
Yes.
Or the reason why you're not going...
Or because you think someone will tell you it's a stupid idea, right?
Yeah, or you damn think it's a... Yeah. I mean, but ask yourself, is this even my thought?
Yeah.
It's probably not. It's probably someone else's thought that you picked up along the road of life, and then you started to believe it, right? So you have an eye, and there's so many terms. I know you like Stuman as well. Stuman talks about like a force of average, but there's fucking average all around you, right? And that's why when you're you're kind of in turmoil, or you're in a left and right, in the sense of when people like you and I, or people that are listening, you feel your soul, like your soul wants more, you want to be more, but your environment is fucking surrounded by average. Like that's a really tough spot to be in. And so, but yeah, so girls was really tough situation for me. And I was persistent enough to get new experiences with women. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so same thing with sales. You talk about like you may join a new sales job, and your first sales call, they're like, screw you. And then you may develop a belief that like, oh, maybe I do suck at sales. Maybe this isn't for me, right? And then we start second guessing ourselves. But I challenge you to be persistent enough in what you're doing to get someone to say yes. Yeah. Whether it's a girl, whether it's a guy, whether it's a clothes, whether it's real estate, whatever it may be, are you persistent enough to get a new experience to have a new belief? And so because of the pain I experienced through girls and not having a girlfriend, I was like, well, I can't change no legs of an arm, but I can get fucking jacked, right? Like that's my thought process. I'm like, right, like I can have a six pack, right? Yeah. And so I became a wrestler, and I mean, the short story is that I amputated my arm, 5 inches of my arm off to become a wrestler.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right. And that was because as well, the pain had forced me to that moment, but I knew the outcome was so much sweeter that cutting my arm off was just a bump in the road, you know? And that's what really happens when you have such a compelling vision for your life, or what you want to set out to do, is like the bullshit won't get to you because you know how it's going to feel, right? Or that's also another technique that people can do, is like when you're feeling, because you and I, we both have day-to-day things that we don't like to do, but we still do them, right? We still do them. And so an easy exercise is you can just ask yourself, like, how is this going to feel when it's done? How is this going to feel when it's over? Right? And for me, I was like, how is it going to feel when I'm actually a wrestler? And maybe the girls will like me. And so my plan worked. And I became a wrestler, and then I became a senior wrestler. And I got more confident by doing the physical activities, which I think like lifting really helped us. And so I gained confidence through wrestling, which allowed me to talk to girls more, to experience that type of stuff, to get a girlfriend, to go to dances, to do that. And I was just persistent enough to get new beliefs. But a lot of times we fold. We fold when it gets hard, right? And so, shit, man, most people fold when it gets hard, and I think that's where most of the growth is.
That's where all the growth is.
That's where all the growth. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm babbling here, but I experienced so much pain within the female thing that I got in great shape. And because I got in great shape, I built more confidence and self-worth. And I started developing, I wasn't a king at the time. I was probably like a prince, you know? So there's an evolution. You can't just jump to king, motherfuckers, by the way. Like you can't just jump there. And so I probably became like a prince. And what that did to me was put me into bodybuilding, right? Like all little stepping stones. But if they get anything from this, is like, most people think oftentimes you need to make a drastic change in your life to like have a new life. But really it's the accumulation of all these 2 millimeter shifts we make. Right? So maybe the 2 millimeter shift for you is like you start having conversation with strangers, or maybe you start finding ways to enjoy your sales calls, or you find out ways to start moving your body a little bit more, right? Just all these little 2 millimeter shifts are going to accumulate into massive growth and confidence, which we can get into, but I've been babbling. But I experienced enough pain that pushed me to my threshold. But what I'm trying to say is you don't need to wait till the fucking pain's so bad. Like, start now.
Dude, like, and here's the thing. When they start, they're going to experience pain. So they better get ready for that, right? They better just understand that pain is a part of the process. Pain is what makes diamonds, right? You cannot become who you want to become without the pressure, without the scare, like, you know, the how scared it can be, right? Because even when you're an entrepreneur, at every level, when you're going as an entrepreneur, you talk about this, right? You know, your money, you know, feels good and it starts to looking good, but then guess what? You got to reinvest if you want to grow. And all of a sudden it goes lower, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, you know, you're just experiencing this up and down, and it's never not going to be scary, but that's not an excuse. Because I love what you're saying about, like, you know, the whole average thing. In my opinion, the average life is the most selfish life you'll ever live, because you're just taking care of you, right? You're just doing enough to take care of you. But the great life, the life where you will not settle for for anything less than the best you can be, that is a life that can inspire others. That is a life where you are living to your full potential. That is the most selfless thing you'll ever do. I say this all the time. I mean, in our business, we donate to Operation Underground Railroad.
Yeah, I love him.
I love him.
Shout out.
Tim Ballard is probably an angel on earth.
Yeah.
You know, and he'll shake his head.
Angel.
Seriously. But what that man has done, and I think about, like, you know, with what, you know, like I experienced as a kid, I thought about, you know, like how much I was asking Is there anyone out there who can help me? And I think of these kids, right, in child sex slavery, or literally in the darkest of hells you can possibly imagine, asking themselves, is there anyone out there who can help me?
Yeah.
And guess what? There is. There is, right? It's you. And the thing is everyone out there, the worst mindset is that someone else will do it, right? Oh, that's bad. Yeah. Hopefully someone does something about it. Oh, I got this problem. I wish someone would have that, right? The entrepreneur is the one who's going to change the world, because the entrepreneur who says, I'll do it. Yeah. I'm going to become that dude. I'm going to upgrade my life because I have to make a difference. I cannot sit back and watch this happen. And the average guy who just takes care of himself is the most selfish thing you'll ever do, because you're not willing to put yourself through the pain and the pressure to become that dude who could have made a difference. Yeah. Right? At the end of this life, you're going to look back and the man you could have become and the people you could have helped along the road, and you experience that and you see that. Yeah. And you realize you didn't live up to that. That's hell. Yeah. The hell is when you realize you could have been more and you could have helped all these people along the way, and you failed them and yourself. Yeah. And because you were not willing to go through that pain that you're talking about, you were not willing to put yourself under that kind of pressure, or just to even start, or to go through it and push through what the life has to give you. Life will never stop throwing blows, so you should start throwing those punches right back. Yeah. Right?
Or learn how to take a punch.
Exactly, dude. You got to be able to take those punches, right? And if you're not willing to do that, then what are you willing to do? Like, what is the purpose of your life? Yeah. Right? You've got to become someone who's willing to make a difference. That's why I fucking love you, dude. I look at what you're doing and I'm thinking, this dude is changing people's lives. And that's fucking, like, it's amazing, right? Yeah. You're changing people's lives. You refuse to settle. You refuse to, because, dude, you could have been an accountant. Right?
Yeah, I hope not. I can only count to one.
Or you could have, exactly. You could have done any other job, right?
Hooked on drugs.
Yeah, you could have done that, right? Yeah. But you didn't. You went out and said, I can make a difference in people's lives, and if I can, I must. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that's, dude, in my opinion, I call this bull mentality, but some people just call that warrior mentality. You're willing to go to war against the demons inside your head, against the other people who try to tear you down, in order to make a difference in your life and to become the person you're meant to be, but also for others. Because think of all the people whose lives you changed. Anyone who doesn't know this, we were in Florida, and I was bawling my eyes out listening to this guy. Yeah. Right? And that, dude, being a wrestler, you have that warrior mentality. There's no doubt in my mind. You're a fucking warrior, dude. Yeah. Right? Thank you, brother. And you're willing to stand, like, when someone punches you, or like metaphorically speaking, you're going to punch right back. Yeah. And I wish more and more people understood that you got to be willing every day to wake up and go to war with the demons that are there, because this life is a battle.
Yeah, dude, that's beautifully said. Something that came to mind too there's a lot of things, right? The first thing that it came to mind is like with wrestling. Or football, right? Yeah. Or anything. Listen to this, and this is an analogy for business and life, whether it's physical or mental, is say you wrestled for 4 years, right? Mm. And you know what it feels like to go head to head and battle with people, and then you don't do it for a year or 2 years, and you go back into the wrestling room, someone's going to hit you with that same intensity, and you're going to say, holy shit, this is what, I don't remember this. Why? Because you didn't exercise the muscle of pushing through the pain or staying at that intensity. Does that make sense? Right. And so it's like same thing with boxing or football. Like if you haven't got hit in football, you forget what it feels like if you're not in the trenches. Yeah. And so what I think as well is, because of my body and the way that I was born, I was born into pain. Like I was born into discomfort, and so discomfort was the only thing I knew. And the reason why that's important is because, say in your childhood you didn't experience getting dirty, right? You didn't experience falling down, scraping your knee, whatever it may be, then people don't know how to handle that pressure, right? So maybe for them, it's, let me start adding a little bit more pressure in my life. Let me start adding a little bit more discomfort. What makes me a little bit afraid? And you start building that muscle up. And so going back to what you said, it's like, some people may have never experienced pain, and the first initial time they experience pain, they're like, fuck this, I don't know what this is, let me run backwards. Yes. Right? And so even if we can just get people to switch the mindset in the sense of like, when I feel discomfort, when I feel uncomfort, when I feel my ego get in the way, insecurity, let me lean into this because there's work to be done rather than run. Yes. And it's not your fault. Right. It's not your fault if you haven't experienced pain. But from what we know about business and life is like, if you can fucking take a punch and take it over and over again, like less things will affect you.
You'll develop calluses.
Yeah.
Right? Keep
Business
leaning.
calluses, mindset calluses.
Yeah. Physical calluses,
Yeah.
your muscles grow from tearing them, right?
Yeah.
You're going to develop and if you haven't experienced pain, it's not your fault, but it is your fault if you stay that way.
Yeah.
Right?
If you keep running from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is your fault if
Yeah.
you stay that way. And that's like when I had that experience as a kid, that wasn't the end of it, right? I got into a lot of fights after that.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'll always remember, my mentality, the whole idea of being a bull, right, is if you fuck with me, I'm coming after you.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning I am willing to go the distance. Are you? I'm willing to fight. Are you?
Yeah.
If you want to come at me, that's fine. I don't care if I lose. You're going to get hit while you come at me, you're going to bully me. Fuck yeah, let's do it, right? And that's what, of a bull, I don't know if you've ever been around bulls, right? They're actually really calm if you're calm.
Yeah.
The second you bring a threat to them or their herd,
it's game time.
It's game time. And it's not just I'm not just talking go out and beat people up.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you have to be ready to throw the punch. Guess what? You're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get beat up. You're gonna get, you get your skin torn, or the calluses developed, or the muscles torn. You're gonna have pain. Your businesses are gonna fail. Own it. And just keep fighting back, right? Yeah. Keep fighting back, keep going. And the second you stop is the second you fail.
Yeah.
Right? You can't fail if you don't stop. You're literally become an unstoppable force who's never gonna stop throwing punches. And I hate that. I hate more than anything when people say I'm burned out. You're not a fucking candle.
Yeah.
You got an eternal soul, this engine that runs in you. Your heart is beating. How many beats per day? Your lungs can fill up, I think it's millions of liters of air every single day, and you're not thinking about it, right? Yeah. That comes from an energy source that's inside of you that says you can fucking do it no matter what comes your way. I don't care. We have enough energy. Let's go.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie or read the book Unbroken?
Mm-mm.
The one about he's actually Italian as well, Santorini.
Okay.
Where he was a prisoner of war in World War II, right? That's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen, where he was a prisoner of war because his plane crashed. He survived for over 40 days on a raft.
Wow.
Right? But then got captured by the Japanese after that. Don't you think at that point you're fuck this?
Yeah.
Right? I think, and a lot of, here's the thing about the story. A lot of prisoners of war did commit suicide because they didn't want to keep going.
Yeah.
Right? They ended it. They're saying, I'm done. Right? But this guy kept going no matter what, with broken bones, being starved to death, right, being abused and in prisoner of war, right? Yeah. And he made it all the way through when really there's almost nothing left on his body, right? And he made it through, and now he actually ran the torch in the Olympics in Japan. Wow. Right? That'd be I want you go read that book or look at Unbroken. And if you look at that same soul, that same energy force is inside of every single human being. It's inside of you. Yep. It's inside of me. His energy source, his soul is no different than any of ours. He just knew it and didn't let it stop him. His brother told him, and we both have family members. Your parents, my parents told us from an early age, you can do it. And so that was his mentality. If only people just understood, you can fucking do it. Yeah. And if you just believe that, guess what? You're going to do it. Doesn't matter how long it's going to take. Doesn't matter what you're going to have to go through. It will happen because you're a creator. You were put on this earth to create, to figure things out, to make it happen. And that's what's inside of all of us. And that's what I see. That's what's inside of you, man. No matter what came in your way, you fucking made it happen. Yeah. And you're making it happen. I don't think people even really know how much you're going to blow up the scene. Right? No, seriously.
Yeah.
I know 100% with the kind of man you are, you're going to blow up your business if it's not already blown up already, right? Yeah. Everyone's going to know your name at the end of the days because they're going to know that Nick dude, he's the man.
Thank you, bro.
Right? If they don't know you already, they're gonna.
Yeah.
And that's because you have that warrior spirit that's never going to quit. That's never going to subside from the pain. That's never going to be stopped. And that's what I fucking love about you, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to stand in your way. I don't care what anyone says to you. And dude, let me ask you this, honestly. How many times has someone said something negative to you? Or tried to
I can only count to one, so way more than my fingers have, right? So a lot, right? And that makes a great point because what you're saying, and I want y'all to hear this, is you have everything inside of you to do what you need to do, but most of you have been bogged down by average.
Amen.
You know, you've been fogged down.
Yeah.
You've been fogged down by your environment. You've been fogged down by your conditioning. You've been fogged down by your brain. You've been fogged down by the motherfucking haters.
You talk about community all the time.
All of this stuff. Like, you've been fogged down or bogged down, and it's like the crabs in the bucket. Like, they want you to be average, you know, like the world wants average. Like, average is fucking easy. They want average. It's easy to control. It's easy for you to think one-minded. And that's why, like, you and I get looked at differently, because they're like, wow, these guys go against the grain and they think differently.
I've been called weird plenty of times.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. But whether we've been fogged down and weighed down by average or not, like, we eliminated things in our life so we can clear our headspace.
Yes.
And so, like, right now you may be listening and you're like, well, I don't have what it takes. Well, you do. You just haven't fucking found it yet. Or you didn't have the balls to go in and find it, right?
Or cut the people out of your life. And that's
the hard shit.
Yeah.
The hard shit to do, right?
Amen,
And or you haven't worked through your demons. You know, you haven't worked through the shit that you're holding on to, or your ego is big enough to say that there is nothing wrong when you know there's a ton of shit that is holding you back. Yeah. And so, but to just wrap up what you said is, like, everybody has it. But most of you been silenced and shunned and put into a fucking corner, and you stay there.
Nick, let me ask you something. Have you ever wanted to quit?
For sure. Oh yeah. I wanted to take my life when girls didn't like me. I wanted to stop the business when shit was hard. You know, we were just talking about this off the mic, right? Going through some growing pains and different things. And there's always something there to quit about. There's always something. There's always something.
You can find a reason.
You always find a reason, right? And so, but what you said at the end of your life as well, you know, not being the person you are. I have this little meditation or this thing that I go through myself, where I think about me being like, and I don't want kids yet, but I'm 25, say I'm like 35 years old, and I'm sitting in my office, and like my kid comes running up to me and he goes, Dad, why'd you quit speaking? You used to be like really good at that. Or, Dad, like, what happened to the muscles? Like, where'd Dad go? Yeah. Do you feel that? Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have fucking kids. That's my nightmare. Yeah. I don't even have kids. Right? And so, like, you're not only fighting for you, but first and foremost, you're fucking fighting for you.
Yes.
Like, like you said, no one's coming to save you, so you're fighting for you to have a greater life, but also you're fighting to break generational curses. You're fighting to be the first person in your family that breaks six figures, right? Like, these are things that pulled you. Like, you need to find as much leverage to achieve your goals, because shit's going to happen and you're always going to want to quit. You and I just have a bunch of leverage that keeps us going. It could be pain, it could be pleasure, but we found so many fucking reasons why we cannot stop that we do not stop. But a lot of the times, most humans find the first reason to stop.
Yes, they're looking for the reasons to stop.
Want to know why? Why? Because, and I get so pumped up, right? Good. It's like, if you have a belief that I can never be successful, you will always try to find a way to prove your brain right. Every single time.
Yes.
It's the same thing when you know someone who says, I always have shitty managers. It's because every damn fucking building they go into, they find the shitty in the manager. They'll find it. They'll find the reason.
The manager shitty.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Or like, girls are cheaters, guys are cheaters. Women, you will go, and because your focus is on all guys are cheaters, guess what? You'll attract another cheat in your life. You'll have the same result, same experience, have same fucking beliefs, same life.
Yes.
Because your brain is always going to try to prove you right. So what that means is, if you don't have beliefs that are empowering you, you better fucking unwire and rewire.
Yes.
You better find some different beliefs. You better let go of those beliefs and find new ones, because what if you have the belief that it always does work out? You always find a fucking way.
Yeah.
Right? What if you have most people walk around and like, what if this doesn't work? What if it does, motherfucker?
Yes.
What if it does?
Yes.
Right? But we're thinking about the wrong things. And so your brain is always trying to prove your beliefs right. Most of you have shitty beliefs, and that's why we have shitty results and a shitty life.
Well, the two things, dude, so it's funny because I was listening to you yesterday. Dude, amen, brother. Like, seriously, like, everything, like, everyone listening to this, you have to, do not just listen to this. Take this to heart. This will change your fucking life. It'll change the life of your life, your kids' lives, your grandkids' lives. It'll change your generational chains, right? And it's funny because you were saying yesterday you have the 3 C's, right? Yep. I have something I call the 2 C's of success, right? And number 1 is courage. Without fear, there cannot be courage. If you do not put yourself through fear, if you do not experience fear, you have no courage. So guess what, motherfucker? You better have some courage. So go put yourself through something that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Go put yourself through that fear and be ready to go to war. Every warrior, the best warriors, are scared shitless, but they do it anyway.
Yeah.
And my favorite saying is John Wayne. He's like, I'm scared to death, but I saddle up anyway, right?
Yeah.
Courage is number one. You have to have the courage to do it. It's scary. We know it's scary.
We're scared.
It's scary. I'm scared dude. I wake up almost every day with anxiety.
Yeah.
But then this is where it comes in, is I have the courage to say, I fucking got this. And this comes in the second C, courage and confidence.
Yeah.
I say unshakable courage and supreme confidence. When I say supreme confidence, I want everyone to listen to this right now. There cannot be a human being on this planet who believes in you more than you. You have to believe in you more than anyone else on this planet. They can believe in you as much as you, but they cannot believe in you more than you. You have to believe in you more than anyone else on this fucking planet. You believe that you can do it. You look at yourself and you think, I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet. You have to think that way. Yeah. You have to be willing to speak that way about yourself, right? And it's not you're saying like turning anyone down. You're just lifting yourself up.
Yeah.
You're acknowledging who you can be and what you are capable of. And the second that becomes your mentality is the second you now have unlocked your brain and there's nothing that will stop you.
Yeah.
If you have the courage to make it happen and overcome fear, and you have the confidence to believe in yourself, in my opinion, there's nothing that can stop you. There's literally nothing that can stop you, not what anyone says. And I say this all the time. There are 7 billion people on this planet. And if 7 billion people believed in you, but you didn't believe in you, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Seriously, what does that matter if 7 billion people all say, I believe in that dude,
Yeah.
but you don't even believe in you? It doesn't matter. But guess what? If 7 billion people on this earth don't believe in you, but you believe in you,
That's all you need.
that's all you need. That is literally all you fucking need to be successful. You have all the power and leverage in the world. The odds are on your side at that point.
Yeah.
And that's how powerful the power of belief is that you can tilt the tables 7 billion people just by believing in yourself enough to say nothing can stop me. No human being can tear me down. Nothing will get in my way. I can do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's the process of becoming.
Yes.
Right? Is you need to become the person that can achieve and sustain success in whatever that is for you, right? And so the process, like at first, like with the courage, and I really love the 2 C's, right, is you may develop new beliefs or have new beliefs and it feels weird because you're not used to it, right? But no, that's the process of becoming, chipping away at it, right? Like you don't just be confident overnight. Like It's like, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. It may feel awkward. It may feel weird, but I'm going to continuously working on this muscle.
Yes.
And you and I are similar in the sense that like, I believe that confidence is the foundation.
Yes.
Amen. And even till this day, I'm still fucking learning and I'm still growing and I'm still becoming more confident.
So
right?
is
That's
Tony
the thing.
the GOAT,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
We all are, yeah.
Students of the game.
Amen. Yeah.
Right. And so like ways that you can build self-worth. That they're like, well, Jeremiah, Nick, like, how do you build confidence? Get in the fucking gym.
Yes.
Start lifting. Guess what? Girls can change, guys can change, business can change. A 45-pound plate's still gonna be a 40-pound plate when you go in there. It ain't fucking changing.
Yeah, that's right.
So going to the gym, what you're putting in your body, what you're consuming, who you're hanging around with, who you're getting coached by. These are all things that will help your belief and your confidence.
Yes.
And especially in influence, right? And this has been and I want to share this has been a massive breakthrough for me. And you've probably are already on this mindset. And I'm welcoming myself into this mindset in the sense of what I'm worth, right? So for example, is like years ago I spoke for free, right? Because there's a combination of things for all the other entrepreneurs that are listening. Like in the beginning, I spoke for free. One, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Yeah. I don't know how much value I was actually bringing, and my belief in myself. Now, over time, I find ways to be more tactical. I find ways to bring more value, and if my value goes up, my price goes up. Right? You talked about it. Money equals value.
Yes.
I watch your stuff.
Yes.
Right? And
well,
so money.
You.
Yeah, you got it, bro. I'm a fan. And so money equals value. And so eventually, like I found out. Tony says it's like who can provide the most fucking value in the marketplace, right? So I provided so much value. Now over 4 or 5 years, my mindset stuff is backed by neuroplasticity, right? And it brings more value, but it also gives me more belief to charge more. But also, which I've learned the past week and 2 weeks, and it shifted my paradigm, is if you don't charge a high amount, they won't get the fucking results.
Yes.
It blew my mind. It
Yes.
shattered my paradigm.
Yeah.
Because we have coaching and we have digital stuff, right? And even my girlfriend as well. It's like, why do these people get the results and these people don't get the results? Or why do these people play full out and these people don't play full out? And it's the easy example. If I gave Jeremiah a $20 program and I said, here's my $20 program and here's my $7,500 program, which one is he going to pay more attention to? Which one are you going to get more results out of? Yep. I know the same shit. Like I've spent $1,000 on a program and not really done it, and spent $10,000. I'm like, oh shit, I better fucking implement it. Then went and made $50,000.
Yes.
And so and sorry, I'm getting geeked out on this.
Geek out, dude.
Is like, and I heard this from Eileen, is the biggest disservice that you can give your clients is charging them little.
Yeah.
Because at first, right, we want to charge high, but it's like, well, am I worth that? Will people really even pay that? Yeah. But if you can get them to adopt the frame and the mindset of like, if people ask like, can you do it for cheaper? You're like, I can't do that to you. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, if I do this for cheaper, you're not going to play full out. You're not even going to get the results. And so, I want to hold you to a high standard. Yeah. And so the beautiful frame that helped me shift just in a few weeks is like, I want my people to get results. I'm going to hold them to a high fucking standard. I'm going to make it hard because I know that they'll get the results, and this is why the price is that. Yep. And being certain and confident with that and not folding, right? And so all these things, knowing your worth, you continuously find your worth and you build your worth. But also, like, if you're feeling not worthy enough or you want to improve, like, go find new tactics, go find new strategies, go find new value, go find a skill to master in, right? Like, go find something that you can provide more value. And isn't it a beautiful thing that we get to coach people? Like, some people are on 9 to 5s and you just give them a mindset shift and they're like, wow, like it's really that easy.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's hard, but it's like really that easy once
Simple.
you have that frame.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, I'm blown away by like the high ticket stuff in the sense of like, if I charge you this, you're going to get more results. Does that make sense?
Well, 100%. The more you invest, the more skin in the game you have.
Yeah.
The more invested you're into it, the more you'll pay attention to it, because the more you put in, that's how much value it is to you, right? And I say this all the time: the world will always pay you what it thinks you're worth. But if you don't think you're worth that much, they won't either. Yeah. So you better realize your worth, and then guess what? They'll match it. The world will pay you what it thinks you're worth, and they're going to kind of match what you think you're worth, right? Yep. So you're exactly right, man.
I'm still on that journey too, because people look at me and they're like, "Bro, for your coaching, it's 30, 40 grand," and I'm like, I don't know, right? And I'm still working on it. So like, if you get anything out of this little segment, is like, we're still working on ourselves and our worth, and like this isn't all of it. Like, we still got more to do, but like, we're still working, and we still have our fears and insecurities and our doubts and our fucking battles with our mind. The only difference is we don't let it handicap us.
Amen. Dude, so what was that? Because we're talking confidence, we're talking courage. I know you've talked about community, and I believe in that. What's the other C you just said?
Coaching. So we got coaching, consistency, and community.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I'm so successful at 25, and you're 25 is so cool, is because we've got coached by people who already had the results that we wanted. It allow us to expedite the process.
Yes.
You know, like, for example, like Tony Robbins, he went out and
got a coach.
He got a coach, but he also like learned for 60 years.
Oh, yeah.
Why should I go learn from 60 years where I can spend proximity with him and fucking condense my speaking abilities in like 5 years, right? Yeah. And you've seen it. And that comes from, which, by the way, when you get coached by someone who has the results that you want, you gain more confidence.
Yes. You
gain more certainty, belief, right? Because it's like, wow, this person has the life or the results that I want. And so coaching, consistency, we talked about consistency leads to overwhelm, anxiety, low self-esteem. Be more consistent with yourself and you'll transform into a king or a queen. And then community. And that's why I told you last night, Jeremiah, we did this cool dinner where we raised money and were able to,
that was awesome.
Super cool, right?
I love doing those.
Yes. By the way, if you listen to this podcast, you want to come to the next one, you just let them know where it is.
Just DM me,
right?
we'll let you know.
Yeah, and but also I told you, out in the parking lot, I was like, bro, how old are you again? I was like, I thought you're 23, you're like, I'm 25. And I was like, I don't have 25-year-olds that are at the same caliber or even higher, and I need to be with you more.
Yeah.
I admitted it.
Right.
I said I need to be more in more proximity of you because we need each other and it helps.
Yes. Right.
Because all of our friends are older. Like
Yeah.
a lot of our coaches, they're like
everyone we're just hanging out with, like,
they're like quadruple age.
Jimmy, Aaron, Jason, Kean. You guys are all old, man.
Yeah, in a good. Thanks for paving the way for the young bucks, the young bulls, right?
That's right.
Right.
The young
And
bulls.
so, but that's another thing that can build confidence and self-worth is like. Listen to me. The worst thing that you can do is share your big goals and visions with a closed-minded motherfucker. Because good luck. If I had a foot, that's shooting myself in the damn foot before I even start the race. Like that's it, right?
We're gonna go shooting later too.
Yeah, we're gonna blow some shit up, right? But for real, like the worst thing that you can do is share your goals, your ambitions, your visions with someone who is closed-minded. And let me shoot it straight with you. Sometimes those closed-minded individuals are your family.
Yes, amen. Absolutely.
Sometimes they're your friends, and it sucks, and it's tough, and it's hard. And so what you do is you love them from afar, and you don't give them all your time and energy and shit. You don't need to tell them what you're doing. Just come back 3 years later with a Huracan and be like, "What up, bitch?
What up?
Like,
Believe me
told
now?
you it worked, right? Let me take you out to dinner. Let me spoil you a little bit, right?"
That's right.
And so, but coaching, consistency, and community, these are all things that help you build self-worth because you are getting guided by people who are on the same frequency, same mindset, same belief in themselves, which is like a campfire, it rubs off.
Yes.
But also when you're learning from someone who has the results that you want. And to be able to drop your ego and realize that you only know what you fucking know. Like even me, we're both 25, and the first thing that I did after funnel hacking was get on a call with you and ask, "Hey, give me some help," right? Even though like speaking, I'm up here,
right?
But you're up here in other ways, right? And we all have our different levels, and I'm always willing to learn.
Oh, dude, and that's why you're growing so fast.
Yeah.
You know, dude. Listen, man. I could talk to you forever.
We'll do a longer one. We'll just like go like a real long one.
Dude,
one day.
there's so many things we could do. We talk about. We gotta go get some good stuff done today because we gotta go have fun. But we're gonna do this more often. People to get a hold of you right here. Everyone who's listening to this, go follow this man right now on Instagram, Nick Santonastasso.
Yeah.
Nick Santonastasso. Let me just spell it for you. Nick. Well, honestly, type in Nick SAN and
T-O,
then T-O and then
long last name, verified, tattoos, no legs. Can't miss
I think
me.
you're the only one.
Yeah. the best looking one as well.
That's so type in Nick Santo on Instagram and you'll be able to find him. Go follow him. Same thing on TikTok, brother. Cannot thank you enough for making the trip out here to come on the bullpen. It's been an honor having you. I could talk to you all day. And there's so many things we're touching on that we're just leaving our audience hanging.
Surface level, yeah.
That's right. But we'll dive into it more. We'll do more of these.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, brother.
Sending love.
Love it.